Hey guys, we're more today. So in today's video we talk Ireland versus England within round 5 of the Six Nations. So obviously this is the last and final round, and both sides want be wanting to actually end on a high, with the Irish obviously getting that massive win over the Scots within last week's round, and then England getting that massive win obviously over France. So both sides are actually coming into this match on pretty good form, I'd say. This is one of those games which I would have actually originally said England would actually would have the better chance, but obviously Ireland are playing at home, so more or less they will have home advantage, and in that sense, I kind of believe Ireland have a good shot at actually winning this game, but we'll have to wait and see on that. So anyway, here's the lineups obviously for both sides. I'll run them by and just tell you what I think about them, and I'll give my prediction right afterwards. So obviously for the Irish squad, they've made a few changes, I'd say. They have gone with Kilroy at the number 1 spot, so that's actually a switch up there. Number 3, they've actually gone with Tad Furlong, so kind of a good duo in the sense where good duo there from the props. I'd say they'll do pretty well from the scrum, I believe, but we'll have to wait and see how that goes. With obviously with the hook position, they have gone with Hearning, which is actually an interesting one. They're not going with Keller, which I believe Keller's actually the better, in my opinion. I think Keller's probably their better hooker, but it'll be interesting to see how Hearning goes. Then with their locks, they've actually gone with Ian Henderson, which kind of he brings a lot of experience in that position, and also they've actually switched Bernie actually back into that locking position, which is kind of interesting to see because obviously he's done very well, I'd say, within that 6th spot, I'd say, mostly for the Irish throughout this whole Six Nations. I think he's probably been their best player, I'd say, throughout this whole Six Nations. So hopefully he can just really continue his form, and obviously he is there, in replace of Jack Ryan, who is still injured. So we'll see what happens, but sorry, not Jack Ryan, James Ryan. But anyway, we'll see what happens there. But with the loose forwards, you do have the likes of Stander, who's at the 6th position. He's one of those players who, obviously, if you didn't hear, he's actually announced his retirement at the end of the season. So that's kind of a unfortunate one. Obviously, he is SA bred, but obviously he's been playing for the Irish for over, I'd say, 6 years now. So, and he's been one of their standout players, I'd say, throughout the whole time he's been there. And he's been a standout player also for the Lions when he's been on those tours. So credit to him, and hopefully he has a good retirement. And best wishes to him. He's been a brilliant player to watch. Just hope all goes well with retirement, really. But moving on with that, with the 7 and 6 position, 7 and 8 position, they've actually gone with 7. Obviously, they do have the likes of Van der Veer at 7, and then Cohen at number 8. So that's where they kind of made more of the switches, I could say, within this, 2 new loose forwards within this game. But it'll be interesting to see how they both go. They'll have to be pretty dominant within their breakdown, definitely against England, because they have a few key players who are pretty good within that breakdown. So that'll be definitely one of the key battles from this game for sure. Anyway, moving on to the backs for the Irish. With the backs, obviously with the 9 and 10 combo, you do have the likes of Conor Murray and Sexton, and obviously Sexton is going to be captain side once again. So that's probably the best combo you could really have for the Irish, and that's probably what they want. I mean, Sexton, in my opinion, has been probably one of the best, I'd say, kickers, you could say, throughout this whole Six Nations tournament so far. I mean, he's been pretty accurate with his kicking so far, so hopefully he can just continue that. And with Murray, he's been pretty dominant with his passing, so hopefully he can just continue his box kicking as he normally does. So moving on to the centres for the Irish. With the centres, they haven't really, to my knowledge, they actually have made one change to the centres, which is kind of interesting. They actually haven't gone with Ringrose, which is surprising, because actually I think Ringrose and Henshaw has actually been a very good duo, I'd say. Probably the best duo out of all, in my opinion, throughout the Six Nations so far. But they actually have gone with Aki, who's actually back into the side. So that's actually great to see. Aki's a brilliant player for the Irish, and it'll be good to see how he does at the 12th spot. And obviously Henshaw will be at the 13th. So we'll see how that duo does, and if they can actually break down England within that game. Within this game, of course. So with the wingers, obviously, the Irish they haven't made, to my knowledge, they actually haven't made many changes from that winger spot. I mean, they've actually gone with Stockdale with the 11 spots. That's he's actually coming back to the side, so that's great to see. And obviously they have stuck with Keith Earls at the 14. And I think Keith Earls was brilliant to watch actually last week's game against Scotland. So hopefully he can just continue his form. He's one of those players you always gets disregarded as just, he doesn't seem like, in my opinion, when you look at him and just how the way he plays, he doesn't seem like a good winger. But he has his moments. Hopefully he can just continue what he did last week because he was brilliant. Then with the last position, obviously they do have the likes of Hero Kieran, and he's been, I'd say, phenomenal, I could say, throughout this whole camp. I mean, he's been one of those standout players. I mean, he's just been, sensational to watch, actually. And hopefully he can just continue his form. I mean, he's been pretty good within the air. And he's got a few tries to his name. I think that try against Italy was probably my favourite. I probably say out of all the tries he scored so far. But yeah, hopefully continue his form. And yeah, hopefully his kicking for territory is spot on, because that'll be definitely one of the key factors from this game for sure. But anyway, that's kind of it with the Irish squad. So yeah, moving on to the English. With the English, obviously they've made a few changes. Some could say too many following their win against France. But yeah, they've made a few. They've actually gone with the same front row as the last week. So they've actually gone with Vinipola, then Cohen Dickey at 2 position, and then they've actually gone with Sinclair at 3. So that's a pretty good combo. Trio. Not combo, but trio there. And yeah, I think they'll be pretty dominant within that front row. I think that's one of the key battles in the game for sure. I mean, you'll have Vinipola versus Furlong, so I think that's probably one of the main battles from this game. And whoever wins that battle, I think will probably give their side an edge within this game for sure, with the amount of penalties that they'll get from that scrum. Then with the locks, obviously they have gone with Tojo, who was brilliant last week, and also got a try to his name in that final. Then what was it, the 75th minute? That actually won the game for England. So yeah, hopefully he can just continue his form really. I mean, he is, in my opinion, the best lock in Europe. So yeah, he's going to continue that title for sure. And then obviously his partner in crime is Eels, who is obviously coming. I think he played last week as well. So yeah, they haven't really made that change, which is kind of interesting to see. And I think Eels had a pretty good game, I said, last week against France. So yeah, hopefully he can just continue his form really. Yeah, but with the loose forwards, they actually haven't made any changes there. They've actually stuck with Mark Wilson, who's actually been pretty good for them, actually. I mean, normally you have the likes of Courtney Law, who's at that 6th position, but Wilson's actually done very well for them. So he's definitely a one-to-watch player, I'd say, within this game for sure. I mean, for me, I should actually say, yeah, he is actually going to be my one-to-watch player. I think if you just look at how he actually plays, and how he's actually been very crucial from that breakdown, yeah, hopefully you can just continue that. So we'll have to wait and see on that. And obviously his partner in crimes will obviously be Tom Curran at 7, and then obviously Vinipola at 8. So yeah, we'll see how that goes really within those 2 positions. So obviously with the back line for England, they have gone with the likes of Youngs and Ford at the 9 and 10 position, and I think that's probably their best, to be honest, at this point. I mean, in my opinion, you could go with Owen Farrell at 10, but I think the way that England are playing at the moment, you're going to probably stick with Youngs at 9 and Ford at 10. And I think Youngs had probably one of his best games, I'd say, against France. I mean, he was everywhere within that game. So yeah, hopefully he can really just continue that form off the win and see. But yeah, with the centre spots, obviously you do have the likes of Owen Farrell up at 12 spots, and obviously he is the captain on the side, so yeah, it's great to see. And yeah, with the 13, they've actually gone with Elliot Daly, which is actually an interesting one, because obviously Daly, he doesn't have size, obviously, to his name. Obviously he is kind of a fullback in that sense, but he is very good in actually, getting past defence and actually, finding his space and opening gaps and actually getting those clean breaks. So yeah, we'll wait and see on how that goes. I mean, it'll be more or less adding more pace, you could say, within that section, but yeah, well, it's an interesting combo there for sure. Then with the wingers, obviously they've actually stuck with their wingers, which is kind of not surprising in the sense where they've been pretty dominant, I'd say, throughout this Six Nations, especially Watson. And you do have the likes of Johnny May at the 11th spot, and then obviously Anthony Watson at the 14th spot. And yeah, I think both of them can really just continue their form. And yeah, I won't be surprised if both of them get a try. We'll wait and see. Then with the last part, obviously they have actually stuck with Malians, which is actually an interesting one, because Malians is one of those players who, I thought he had a decent game against France, but he didn't really stand out. But it's interesting to see, obviously, that they're sticking with him, and obviously Daly is being put in within that 13th spot. So they do technically have that 2 fullbacks in a sense. So if they do want to take Malians off in the second half, then obviously Daly can fit within the 15. So we'll see how that goes. That's probably what they'll do, I believe. But we'll see how that does. But anyway, that's kind of it really with both teams. If I'm to make a prediction for who would actually win the game, I'm actually going to edge towards the Irish, actually. I think they'll end strong, and I think, the English have always they haven't been pretty good away, to be honest, but, I think the Irish can actually do it. I think they can end on a high, and I think it'll be deservingly so that Stan gets, his final game for Ireland, well, within the Six Nations, to my knowledge. If he wins, then I love that. That'd be such a great thing for him, and yeah. If Ireland win this, then obviously they will stay ahead of England within the table, within the standings. That's also very important from that perspective. Yeah, that's kind of it really. I mean, with this video, just definitely like, comment, subscribe. I just want to see you guys commenting below. Just tell me who you guys think will win. Yeah, anyway, just hope you guys have a good day, and talk to you guys soon.